It's always my pleasure having you in class. I hope you are doing so great. I want to say welcome to class today. All right. Today we shall be looking at the topic for today, in which is what we have titled dotted notes. Yes, dotted note is our topic for today. But before we go into dotted notes, I think it's going to be wise for us to look at what notes are. We've done this before, but let's just refresh our memories. So, what do we understand by a note? A note is the duration or length of a musical sound. That's what a note is. It is the length or the duration of a sound. We can say musical notes is a way of denoting a sound. That's just the definition. Let's look at some notes so we'll be clear. We have the British, we also have the American. We call it symbols. If you look at the middle of both, we have symbols. Now, the semi-brief is also known as whole note. Half note is also known as meaning. The crotchet is also known as quarter note. Eighth note is also known as quaver. The semiquaver is known as 16th note. 32nd note is also known as demi-semiquaver. So it's simple: semi-brief, meaning, crotchet, quaver, semiquaver, or demi-semiquaver. Or you can call it whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, 16th note, and 32nd note. Now let's look at the value of this note. When we say value, what is the beat? We have the head alone, which we call the semi-brief or the whole note. It is 4 beats. We have the next one, which is the meaning, or we call it the half note. This is a non-shaded head and a stem. It has 2 beats. So 2 meaning, we give you 1 semi-brief. We have the third one, which is the crotchet, known also as the quarter note. It's a shaded head and a stem. Now, the difference between a meaning and a crotchet is that one is non-shaded and the other is shaded. A crotchet has 1 beat. Then we also have the quaver, which is also the 8th note. This is where we have what we call the flag, or we call it a tail. It's a shaded head with a stem and a flag. This is half beat. So 2 of these we give you 1 crotchet. 2 crotchets we give you 1 meaning. 2 meanings we give you 1 semi-brief. Now we have the 5th one. It is known as the semiquaver. It's a shaded head, 2 stems, and a shaded head, a stem, and 2 flags. Then the last one is what we call the demi-semiquaver, or we call it the 32nd note. It has a shaded head, a stem, and 3 flags. Also in music, we have what we call beaming. Beaming is to connect the notes together. So if you look at the last one, which is the semiquaver, we have beamed it because it's now 4. Instead of writing 4 quavers or 4 semiquavers, just beam the notes together. Okay. So right about time, let's look at the dotted note. A dotted note is a dot that is placed after the note. Listen again. A dotted note is a dot, yes, that is placed after the note to indicate a change in the duration of a note. There's going to be a change. We have a note. It has its time or its beats. Once we add a dot, it will increase it. It's no longer going to be sung or played in that short form. Is that okay? All right. The dot adds half of the value of the note to itself. For example, a dotted half note gets 3 beats. That's a dotted meaning note. It gets 3 beats. Value of a half note is 2. Half of 2 is 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Now, let me explain a bit slower. Value of a meaning is 2 bits. If you add a dot, you have increased that 2 bits by 1. So the first thing is to keep your 2 bits. Then you divide it by 2. You get 1. Add the 1 to the 2 you have kept. It becomes what? 3. We'll look at some other notes so that we'll get insight. Now look at a dotted note here. I said a dotted note is simply as it sounds. A note with what? A dot. next to the right of the note head as shown below. This dot makes the note last longer by adding an half its value. By adding on half its value. By adding on half its value. So, in a dotted meaning, you will get a meaning and what? A crotchet. We'll look at more notes to get a deeper understanding. Are you ready for that? Alright, now look at these dotted notes. We have the original notes to the left and we have the dotted notes to the right. We have the first note there, which is a semi-brief. It has 4 beats, don't forget. But when you add a dot, it becomes 6. Because I said it will what? Be divided by half its original note. That's what you allocate to the dot. So it goes for meaning. It goes for crotchet. It goes for quaver. It goes for semiquaver. A meaning becomes 3 when it's a dotted meaning. A crotchet becomes 1.5 because half of 1 is half. So you have your 1 kept, half of 1, half. You allocate it to the dot. So when you add it 1 plus half, it gives you 1.5. Then when you have a quaver note, which is already half, half of half is quarter. When you add quarter to half, it gives you 3/4. And that is 3/4 of the note. It's very easy to work with. I'm not the one who wrote the maths. We made it like that. Now let's add up these numbers. 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. Represent it in note form. It becomes a semi-brief plus a meaning. Just like you say a whole note and a half note. It becomes a dotted meaning. Why is it a dotted semi-brief? Because it is 6. If you take 2 plus 1, it will give you a dotted what? Meaning. Because it becomes a meaning plus a crotchet, or you say half plus quarter. Is that okay? Then the last thing I want you to look at in this class is how do you get this done? A dotted whole note can give 3 half notes. Same with 3 half notes, it can give you 3 quarter notes. What do I mean by that? Check the first note up. We have a dotted meaning. Sorry, a dotted semi-brief. Can you see that? Yes. We said it's equal to how many meanings can you see there? 1, 2, and 3. Why? A meaning is 2 bits or 2 counts. How many meaning can you get in a semi-brief? Is 2. But how many meaning can you get in a dotted semi-brief? Is 3. Why? Because a dotted semi-brief has 6 bits, which is also equivalent to 3 meaning, which is 6. Same with a dotted meaning, it will give you 3 crotchet. Same with a dotted crotchet, it will give you 3 quavers. So with a dotted quaver, it will give you 3 semi-quaver. Alright? Don't forget, we said when a dot is to the right of a note, it means is to what? Increase that note. Dotted notes are very important to understand, especially when it comes to reading. So don't forget our explanation, our definition, and also the notes that we have looked at. I'm very sure when I give you a note, you should be able to put the right answer. And here is where we shall be concluding for today. Now, I need you to take your quiz. That's the next step. A lot of you have been doing very well, gaining 10 over 10. Don't quit. Don't let down your guard. Keep doing what you know is right. I want to say a very great thank you for being a part of our class today. Thank you so much. I love you. Until I come your way again, it's me saying goodbye. I'll see you very soon. Much love.